talking about the informal sector. We have a huge chunk that are women. And, tax reforms will certainly impact on them and the returns they expect.
Welcome to the Purple Diaries podcast, the Policy Innovation Center's advocacy platform where we talk about all things gender and social inclusion. At the launch of the 4th edition of the Purple Book, I had the opportunity to sit down with men and women from diverse walks of life and talk about a topic that is very much high on the mind of many Nigerians right now, and that is taxation and what it means for women, youth, and people in the informal sector. Join me in this special season series to talk about taxation, taxes, and the ordinary Nigerian. Good afternoon, Ma.
Good afternoon.
It's an honor to have you here today. Welcome to the Purple Diaries podcast, which is hosted by the Policy Innovation Center. For the sake of our audience, can you kindly introduce yourself? Although I know that you're not a stranger to most Nigerians, but for those who might not know you, please.
Well, my name is Mariam Uwais. I'm a lawyer. I'm also a board member of the Policy Innovation Center. I'm currently serving as a consultant, strategic consultant to the UN on so many issues, but particularly in relation to the Northwest states, which has the worst indices all round.
Thank you very much, Ma. I know you're a very busy woman, so I really appreciate the time when you're making the time to be here. So you were in the room when the conversations were going on. There's a lot of talk about the tax reform and what this means, especially for the population of women and people who you work with. So I'd just like to hear your thoughts, and I know there are many. But what is most pressing and urgent on your mind right now?
I was wondering as I was listening whether the presidential committee had a female who understood the gender issues during their conversation, because it came out that, they were not as discerning as they ought to have been when it came to, incentivizing women businesses. And they're talking about the informal sector. We have a huge chunk that are women. And, tax reforms will certainly impact on them, and the returns they expect will depend on the confidence that the women have in the fairness of the system. So I would have expected that there would have been some thought given to how do we get women to understand better. And it's not a matter of waiting for them to come. It's a matter of engaging, because they are a significant chunk of the population. So this is what just crossed my mind. Well, it's work in progress. So it may be reform for now, but it's something we need to continue working on.
That had to be said. Because representation is key. So the point you made is well taken, and I'm hoping that it will be escalated to the right places where it needs to be. But just drilling down a little bit on that point you just made, if there's pushback and they say, oh, but this was an open call. Women, it was expected that everybody should be there, and we did not see the women because it was said in the room, right, where the conversation was going on. In very practical terms now, what would be your guidance for intentionally getting women into the room? If they said to you, what are those steps 1, 2, and 3 that we need to take to make sure that every time these policies are being made, tax reform policies, anything that is going to impact on women, how do we get the right women in the room? What are those 1, 2, 3 practical steps that you would advise?
Organizations like the PIC are well positioned to be able to engage with the diverse sectors that exist. And, in every state, because we seem to have not engaged with the subnational in this conversation. And this is where the women are. This is where the hard work is done. This is where the returns are expected. And so there has to be a deliberate effort of going around. What the representative of the minister said just sounded like years ago on electoral reform. Women got together and started making, a lot of noise, insisting that we have our own issues and you must listen to us. And this is how, was escalated. Truth is, the status quo benefits the men. And unless there's a tornado, we will keep talking. We'll keep insisting because it is not for the benefit only of women. It's for the benefit of the country that you have this balance and you have everybody at the table clarifying how these reforms will affect society and how the fairness in it and the social contract will encourage me to actually come forth and try and avail myself to the opportunities that exist and pay the taxes. It's so important that you're accountable. It's so important that you're transparent. And it's not about collecting. It's also about how you engage with the spending. So I'm not saying it's the mandate, but it's one of the first things I said to him. It's about confidence, about people believing that what I'm giving is going to be used for purpose. And I really liked the contribution of the professor, the dean of business. That's the only way tax can work. People are going to be hiding their monies. They're going to do a lot of things that are underhand. And you get into this conversation about tax avoidance and tax evasion. And for me, it's a thin line, so I really think tax authorities would make more of an effort in trying to understand what the nuances are so that all of that can be factored into the reforms as we move ahead. This is just one stage. I'm hoping that there will be many more reforms as we go down the line.
Revisions.
Yes.
Yeah. So if I'm hearing you right, the two things that really stand out for me are, one, that there needs to be an education both of the government and of the general Nigerian public about how when you make sure that there's gender equity, right, it benefits everyone, right? Because people hear the word gender, they immediately think, oh, it's for the women, right? But letting people understand that when you make sure that things are equitable, right, at the end of the day, it benefits not just women, but men, boys, and girls, everybody, right? And then the second thing, right, which goes to your last point, is there is a big trust issue. And we cannot move forward and achieve what government is trying to achieve or what they say they're trying to achieve until we fix that trust issue.
No, definitely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.